Thank you very much, Sam. And yes, welcome to our listeners to COMETSA Radio Podcast Live. This is a tourism, hospitality, arts and culture show that runs on every last Thursday of the month. And I'm your host, Tendani Munonoka, all the way from South Africa in Limpopo province, situated right in the very big village called Madombija. That is where I am broadcasting now. Tonight we are having a guest. His name is Freddy Mokay. Mokay is his nickname. I co-host I host the show with my co-host Marisha Zipsa, who is based in the UK. She's going to join in just a little bit later on. But right now, I would love our guest to introduce himself. What is his name? Where he's from? Where is he born? And all those beautiful things. So welcome, Freddy.
Yes, thank you very much, Tendani. And I would like to also thank the listeners who are now joining this conversation. My name is Freddy Mokay. Mokay, as I indicated later on, that is my nickname, but my full name is Freddy Mokay Molope. I'm from Limpopo in South Africa, in a village just outside Polokwane called Hamamabolo. Therefore, I've been in the creative industry for approximately 15 years, advocating for development of the creative and the cultural industry in Limpopo and South Africa at large.
Wow. Freddy.
Yes. Am I
Hamamabolo,
audible?
how many kilometers is it outside Polokwane?
Approximately 40 kilometers, if not 30 kilometers from Polokwane.
Wow. Well,
Yes.
it's quite interesting. What
It's just
else do we
nearby
know? What
Moria.
else can we know about Hamamabolo?
We are let me say we are a founding village of ZCC, Zion Christian Church. It was found at Hamamabolo at Tabakone, whereby now is situated at Moria. We have number of tourism destination around Hamamabolo, which of course Moria is part of the destination. Yeah. We are also within, we are just nearby University of Limpopo, TEFLOP campus, where we are actually the heart of academic excellence in the province.
Wow.
Yes.
So you started school Hamamabolo, and you still from your grade R up until you did your matric in the same village.
Yes.
Wow, that's wonderful. So it says that Hamamabolo, for you it's the place to be. You didn't see any loopholes or anything lacking to say I should stay here or I should move out of here.
No, I found a comfort home at Hamamabolo, and I'm very happy. Hence, after my matric, I went to University of Limpopo, just so that I can also complement excellence around my village, and also, make sure that resources around my village are being utilized by, us who are able to attend, further our studies and so on. I've seen no need for me to go outside looking for education, while within my village there is an academic excellence center where I can be able to accumulate my knowledge or further my studies.
Wow,
Yes.
that's so encouraging. It's different with other villages that are not privileged to have such an opportunity to have a university around. But I also want to believe that it is just by the love of where you come from that made you to say, you know what, I want to stay here. I want to pursue my career here. I want to build my community here. Tell us about a little bit of your journey that leads you to be where you are. When did you discover, or when did you realize the creativity in you? At what age, basically? And what was the inspiration around it?
By the age of 9 years, I've seen the passion. I've been doing performing arts at my primary school. Then, when I was doing my primary school, then I've realized a need for creating a center whereby at my primary school I would see so many young people who were very talented, but after school they are not doing any activity in a way. Therefore,
Yes.
I've seen a need that I need to create a group, or we can say a center. Therefore, that's when I call it Young Generations Performing Arts. That was my starting point of showcasing leadership within the creative industry, and also, providing solutions in a way that I'm creating a platform for young people. And also, we can create a platform where we are able to further, or um, where we are able to unleash our talent furthermore beyond our school, or beyond
Mm.
schooling time. Hmm.
Wow. I mean, when you're doing that, what was your parents saying? I mean, arts and culture or dance or performance, I think when you're growing up, it's not really a career that many parents will regard, unless if there's one of the parents who is maybe an actor or a writer or a poet. I don't think many parents will just say, "Oh no, my son, go ahead and open a dance school, or go ahead and open a poet, do poet classes and all that." Well, how did they respond to that?
At first, it was not easy for my parents, but however, they saw the passion I have. When after school, I'll do my home chores. Immediately when I'm done with my home chores, I'll I'll go quickly to the center, where I was the only person to say that, who was having that kind of a center of that magnitude. Therefore, I would recruit approximately. I was having approximately 100 young people, and interesting thing is that there were also other people who were older than me during
Mhm.
my center. Therefore, they might be, let me say, 10 years older than me, but I was the chairperson and I was directing the whole center in a way. And they were very supportive, and also they gave me authority. One of the things that actually um, indicated that my parents were supportive,
Mhm.
they took me to a training uh, at Prida, at the late Paul Rapetswa, Mahuma Paul Rapetswa. He was having an institution, actually still there, Paul
Mhm.
Rapetswa's Dramatic Institute at
Yes.
Seshego. Yes,
Yes.
I that's when I started also gaining more of the professional training or mentorship within the creative space. And when I was there, I was accumulating that knowledge, and in a way that I'm also going to transfer it when I get to my center. Whatever I was doing at the center, I
Mhm.
will go to at the Pride, I will go back to the center and also train them the way I received the knowledge at Pride.
Wow. So basically, you're transferring the skill that you get from Pride. And I know
Yes.
that, a lot of artists, a lot of uh, people who are based around Seshego area, they come from that institution, Pride.
Yes.
A lot of them have learned a lot from there, and they came out the best.
Yes. And while I was there, I met other young people whereby they were also very passionate to open their organizations. And, they asked me how did I be able to open such kind of an organization. I'll guide them to say that this is how you register your organization. Showcase. I also give them and information about how to establish that, where are opportunities. Sometimes during the time there were competitions, because these
Yes.
days we no longer have those competitions. There were competitions whereby I will share with them that let's go to a competition, and we are able to create a platform where we are actually exploring or growing our talents.
Hmm. So we basically were following on,
Yes.
running around uh, on talent. When there's talent search, you will still carry the members of your organization uh, together with
Yes.
other organization to say, guys, let's go and see how far we are really getting at in terms of polishing the skills, basically. And Freddy, academically wise, I understand you're still going to school, but didn't that affect, the way you were learning? Didn't it affect your grades? Because I know that once you are very much sure and aware that this is what you like and this is what you want to do, um, it might affect, your academics because it's two different fields altogether.
No, interesting thing is that I was excelling at my school. Therefore, this dramatic industry, or we can say performing arts industry, didn't affect my academic or my performance at school. Even when I was at the university, since I'm still explaining the background of that. Even when I was in the university, I was not studying media or or performing arts. I was studying Bachelor of Science in Agriculture for animal productions. But however, I will be more involved. Most of the people would be convinced that I'm doing performing arts because I was
Mm.
always in arts festivals performing, whenever when there
Yeah.
are shows around the university, you'll find me performing there. But I'll create time for my academics, make sure
Yeah.
that I study. Even sometimes you find us going to a festival, maybe at Mpumalanga while I was in university. I'll go to a festival and you find that I have to return maybe Sunday later, and Monday I'm writing. I'll make sure that I create time for studying, and I'll excel, of course.
Wow.
Hence, now I'm a
And
graduate.
wow, I mean, this is two different fields, completely
Yes.
different. May I ask, is that the degree for the parents or the degree for backup? Because it's completely different.
No, actually, it's a degree for parents. Currently, I'm working very hard to also get a degree for myself now. Of course, it will be within the creative industry
Hmm.
for performing arts because I'm very passionate about the performing arts industry. Hence, I continue to create more platforms for the industry in terms of training and also building capacity building for so many young people within the creative industry. Yeah. While we
Well,
have this conversation, I'll continue to reveal a lot of things.
yeah, I know. I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm so glad that Marisha is going to join us just now. Yes, she's my co-host all the way from UK. She's going to join us and to share this. To share, with this beautiful conversation, because I'm just seeing you starting at in creative arts and starting with building, not even starting with developing yourself, because you start by an organization, you start by, I want to share what I have. And at that moment, I want to believe that you knew that your skill was not polished, but you were already ready. The leadership's personnel in you was already saying, you know what, we need to start by leading, and then we will polish our skill, on a later stage. Because you just, I want to really understand that what pushed you to say start by creating an organization before you can polish your skill.
I've always a person who want to associate with people for building something better, because I always believe that alone I cannot do anything. I need human resource so that I can be able to grow together with the people. I knew that there will be something that I'm learning from the people, and there will be something that they are learning from me. Therefore, I'll be growing myself in the process of also assisting other people. Hence,
Okay.
I took a route of collaboration. I took a route of partnership. I took a route of collectiveness. I like being individual when I'm doing my things. Therefore, I believe that when I'm doing things in a collective manner, like eventually I'll grow. Hence, where I am today, I didn't force myself to be where I am. It's because of the work I've been doing within the creative industry and the people who recommended me for where I am. Therefore, I believe that working together with people has created the person who I am today.
Okay. Um, Freddy, but just break down maybe the categories
Okay.
from, should we call it your organization or your academy, or yes, your organization. Just break down the categories that this is what you were developing at that stage when you
Okay,
started.
you mean the previous organization that
Yes, the
I
one you
started,
started
ne?
in. Yes.
What I was doing there, we were doing performing arts, in particular poetry, drama, films, because we'll turn our stories into motion pictures, and we were also assisting these young people in terms of campaigns, that time, one of the popular topics that were taking place, it was HIV, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we're having issues around adolescence and so on. We'll create plays or drama or dramatic art or musical plays whereby we are making awareness of such abuse, Those were activities that we were doing. And one of the most interesting activities that I liked, it was
Yeah.
comedy. That when we were the only group around which were very passionate about comedy in a way.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're doing comedy and other art activities.
Okay, all right. How far did the organization grow? When you look at it, and how many years did you run in that organization?
And the interview. Getting the interview live. Radio. Sorry for a little disturbance. Sorry for a little disturbance I had. You were saying what?
I was saying, how many years did you run your organization?
Currently, my organization is turning 11 years this year,
Okay.
which means we are having 11 years running the organization in full, Yeah.
Yes. Now it
But
now it's now
currently,
it's complete. It's no longer all about you, but it's a formal organization.
yes, it's a formal organization. Now it's registered, but I'm no longer chairing the organization since I have a responsibility which I'm playing at the Limpopo Arts and Culture Youth Forum as a provincial chairperson. I had to give
Yeah.
it to my other colleague to make sure that they are working on the organization. Even though currently, due to COVID-19, we were affected in terms of operation, but the organization still firm in a way of fulfilling its vision and missions and objectives.
Mm. Okay. Let's talk about Limpopo Youth Forum, Arts and Culture Youth Forum. When
Yes.
did you join them? And
Okay, the little
what's
journey.
taking place there? What's taking place, because I know that there is a young poet who's sitting somewhere and thinking, how there's an organization like this and I've not heard about it. Is it, it's a provincial organization and it's big, and somehow I feel it hasn't reached other places. But tell me,
Yes.
when did you join? Let's maybe start there. Like, when did you join them, and what does it do? What does it offer? What is it that it's not doing?
Okay. Actually, I joined the organization in 2016 and I started as a member until 2017 when I was nominated to be um, an additional member. Then I paved my way in 2018. I became the deputy chairperson of the province.
Yeah.
Then in 2019, that's when, but I always prefer to say it was in 2020 because I got my appointment to office in November 2019. Therefore, the year already was it was already the year was
At the
it
end.
was at the end. Yes, therefore, actually, what actually enforced or encouraged me to start to join that organization is because there is a need to have a voice of young people in the creative industry to influence policy structures, to influence opportunities, to create platform or an enabling environment for young people to thrive within the creative sector, especially in our province, which we still regard it as a disadvantaged province, whereby there is a need for us to advocate for such status quo to change in our lifetime. Therefore, since I've always been a leader since at a young age, then
Mhm.
I saw a need for me to play my role to change the status quo of the creative and the cultural industry, especially because myself, I'm also passionate about the industry. My expertise will really play a serious role or a critical role to change the status quo of the industry.
Mm, mm,
Therefore, one of the objectives of the organization is to organize young people within, across the province and, create, enter intercultural platforms, whereby we can also forge social cohesion, unity within the people, and also champion interest of young people, especially socio-economic challenges which our young people within the creative industry, they are facing:
Yeah.
unemployment, poverty, and inequality, whereby most of artists continue to be upcoming, even when you have 20 years in the industry, but you're still regarded as upcoming. We need to change such norms. You need to also challenge the red tapes that are created within the industry, because there are so many red tapes within the industry, access to information for young people in the industry, that there are so many young people in rural communities who does not even know about institutions that are giving funding, within the industry. They don't understand the process, how to access such funding opportunities, and when are those funding opportunities open for them to apply. That is the role that the organization is playing. And so far we tried our level best to reach out to other young people, and we have been reached out to all the young people in across the province, but so far we are doing very good in terms of also reaching out to young people. Went to Mopani, Skukune. We are also going next week, because we saw a need to also go to Skukune, because we were not reaching that area in our last KPA. But we were affected by COVID-19 last year. We're supposed to have had a road show in all of the province, but however, now since things are much better, we are going to have a project where we are going to all the districts. Then we are able to search the talent and see how best we can put them in our mentorship and capacity building program. But this year, our KPK will be more into music industry, whereby we want to tackle matters sector by sector, so that at the end of the day, we are not having a lot of work on our plate, which we are unable to fulfill. Because if we try to do poetry, visual artists, we try to do filmmakers, will be affected by resources in the process, and we will end up not fulfilling our intended purpose as an organization.
Okay. Wow, that's beautiful work that you're doing. And I just want to ask this question, that in doing all that, what what are the challenges that the organization itself is facing, before we can talk about challenges that artists and you know the industry itself is facing? What are your challenges?
First challenge is that our government is not cooperative in our province. That is the honest truth that I need to forward, that this is a serious challenge, because you find other people who are placed at strategic positions within the government to assist the industry. They are not understanding the dynamics of the industry. They are not informed about the dynamics of the industry. To be honest, they are not having a willing heart to intervene to a level whereby they are able to fulfill their mandates, which it must to be to champion the interest of the industry, and also creating a social cohesive citizenry. Therefore, that is a very serious challenge. And structures of our government is not actually well structured, in a way that you find yourself going to a district or going to a municipality. They don't have proper policy structures that are able to support you. They will tell you they don't have budget, and that is their end of wait, and that creates a frustration to us as an organization. We imagine about artists who are dwelling within that society. how is the municipality, how is their government in strategic areas supporting them, because you find us having interest to have a program in a certain area, like, but however we are failing because at the end of the day we are not supported. If we are not supported, or we are not being actually there is no keen to assist us in a way, it's a serious
Mm,
challenge to us. And also disunity of artists,
mm,
artists are not having a willing heart to unite. That is a very serious concern that we have, and this matter is very global. I mean, it's a global catastrophe whereby we have artists who are not united for a common purpose. Imagine the sporting industry. The sporting industry, even though there are challenges within the sporting industry, but the industry is organized in a way that opportunities can be able to reach to the industry, and also they are able to grow locally, regionally, and internationally. Yes, that is a very serious concern and a challenge that we have, which it affect progress of the organization. And lack of funding, because funding that we are managing to get is very little to cover the interest we have. We apply for a, a, a better budget, but at the end of the process, you find yourself getting a 10% of what you requested. Then you will need to compromise certain things, and that way it delay progress of your KPKs.
mm, mm. I do understand that, but especially when we talk about the challenges of artists that don't want to unite, do you think it's probably lack of organization like yours that would hold maybe talks to say, you know what, we are in this together. Let's try and build the arts and culture world. Let's try and stand together and maybe have talks to teach them to say, you know what, talent alone, it's not enough, because it probably may be that somebody thinks I sing better or I dance better, but dancing alone, will not, take you far. Do you think your organization should probably have a division that will be dedicated before you do talent search, or after you do talent search, you go and talk to artists and maybe motivate them and coach them, mentor them?
Yes, there's a need for that. Hence, we have a stakeholder manager within the organization. But however, I think one of the challenges that maybe you are now enlightening us, we never created such a platform. We are approaching artists individually. So hence, I think it will be very well that we create such a platform whereby we are engaging with artists drastically, so, or we are engaging with them in a way that we are able to unpack what exactly we want to obtain. But
Mm,
however, the biggest challenge that, since I've been in the industry, that I always actually come across is most of the artists than to build something that they understand that it will be their sole voice. They are creating new counter-revolutionary movements or organizations that, however, they are not there to complement existing organizations, but to compete with those organizations, which at some point creates divisions and disunity, which at some point it is affecting progress of the industry. Imagine the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture since 2009, they've been creating a federation, CIFSA. I think maybe you know about it. The Cultural
Yes.
Creative Industries Federation of South Africa has been trying by all means to support that structure. But however, there are counter-revolutionary organizations or structures that are coming in the process to affect that sole voice that we wanted, that there is no sole voice for organizations within the cultural and creative industry whereby it is recognized by parliament like SAFA, how it is recognized. Therefore, that process has been dragging for currently is 12 years. But there is no, a proper structural composition in a way that we are able to support that effort of government to at least have a sole structure. We might have organizations within within the industry, because the federation cannot work in the ground. It is organizations that are working the grounds, that are making sure that the ground is fertile and young people are able to access information, and young people are able to be empowered within the cultural and creative industry, creating amicable policies that are going to empower the industry in particular. Therefore, I think there have been various interventions in a way, but in terms of our organization, I think the advice that you gave is that we need to create that a platform where we are engaging as an industry, and we are able to create amicable ways that we can give a way forward in a way.
Yeah. Look, in my experience, or in what I have notice when it comes to our industry, the arts and culture industry, because we are so many divisions or so many parts, we tend not to want to bring it together, because what happens is on creative arts, and you will not never find a event where you having performing artists, and then you will have they will invite the visual arts artists, or they will invite the guys who are doing poetry. So if we as organizations, if we can start by arranging, even when you're doing talent search, they do talent search and we specify that we're doing talent search for dancers. Why can't we do talent search, a full comprehensive talent search? We're looking for dancers, we're looking for singers, we're looking for visual artists, we're looking for poets, we're looking for writers. But the organizations always say we're doing talent search for dancers. That's when we start to do divisions. Because you will find that how many talent search for dancers have you run so far compared to writers?
Yes, I
For poets
actually,
as well.
yes, I understand your concern. Hence our organization, every 3 year we have a KPK, a key performance area that we are putting our effort to ensure that we transform that industry. Therefore, for this year, since I came to the chairmanship, I developed a KPK whereby, let's start with the music industry, since it's active in a way. Most of upcoming musicians are active, they are outgoing, because they can reach out to people that they are talented. They are requesting platforms to showcase their creativity. Therefore, how about we go to them than them coming to us that I'm talented, can you assist me? Can we go to them and see how best we can assist them? Because when we assist them in terms of mentorship or capacity building for them to understand what is a royalty, how to register for music royalty, where to register such royalties, and how to get airplay, how to get your royalty, the music business aspect, how to do publishing, what is the difference between publishing and, distribution, those kind of a thing. Like we felt like let's start with them first, then the other KPK as an executive, I think will have to look into maybe a cultural business, whereby most of our indigenous people must go out there and create the economic opportunities by their cultural merit. That's actually what we were thinking that we can do, because the industries are very big, because we have 15 industries within the arts and culture sector, including culinary art is part of the cultural and creative industry. Indigenous wisdom is part of the cultural and creative industry. Heritage sector is part of, there are so many sectors or subsectors within the industry, which, however, it is our role as an organization to make sure that we activate them, we assist where we can. And the most important thing, when we do funding workshop or summits, we invite everyone, poets, and so on, so that they can understand how to write a proposal. What are components that are important when you are doing a funding proposal in a way? Where should you go and submit your funding proposal? Those are kind of a relief mechanism that we are thinking that when we train them, when we provide a capacity building for those creatives or those involved in subsectors, they will create more opportunities or platforms in a process whereby our work will be simplified in a way that we understand if Tendani was able to get funding, the writers, since he is a writer, they will be catered. If Freddy managed to get a poetry festival funding, we know that the poets are going to be catered. This is one of the strategic approach that we are trying to relieve or to accelerate our impact of our KPKs.
Wow. You spoke about our indigenous cultural categories that I personally feel that in many other organizations or in many other bodies that they become very last on the list, and hence Tendani Cultural Society look into that first, because I believe that if you know where you come from, you definitely know where you're going. And in all the dance and in all the art and all that, I would love to pick, as we were saying, that are we not the one causing divisions, but I would love to put the traditional dance on top of the list, simply with the reason that you cannot do traditional dance and not being taught principles, and not being taught respect, and not being reminded of who you are, not being reminded of where you come from. Hence, as an organization where we say we we value our elderly because they are the ones with wisdom, they are the ones with the knowledge of where we come from. So I think we should also not go out as organization to say we're doing talent search and forget our heritage, and forget the stories, the old stories that needs to be told, that will remind us of our being, of who we are, and that we are Africans. We came from somewhere. So I understand, and I love the fact that you, within the organization, within Limpopo Youth Forum, you have conferences or talks about how young people should go out and apply for funding, how they should apply. But I also want to understand, are we teaching them to be entrepreneurs? Because once you're an artist, money start coming in, you need to understand, what do
You
you
need
do
to
with it?
understand, what do you do with it? We wanted to host this other project. We have applied at the National Arts Council. Unfortunately, our proposal was not successful. We wanted to host an enterprise development program within the arts space, creative enterprise development program, whereby we are actually is sparking or igniting the culture of business within the creative space, whereby if you want to understand, like if I have to be very clear or clarify that most of creative, they have businesses like which are not registered or complying in a way. Sometimes when
Mhm.
opportunities comes, it becomes very difficult for them to access this kind of opportunities. Therefore, I've always told so many creatives that your creativity, your talent is business. Therefore, it's very critical for them to always, I can say, industrialize their creativity, because they can go to institutions that are able to finance businesses, like SAFA, CIFA, like NYDA, like CEDA, and so on, which they can go as creatives as long as their paperwork is in order. Therefore,
Mhm.
they are able to access those opportunities because we'll be knowing that their enterprises are in order, and they are also able to access those opportunities in the process, and they are able to create jobs in the process. Because imagine someone who's in the visual sector,
Mhm.
the person have a lot of markets, but however need to be guided accordingly. Maybe let me say Tendani is good with drawings. How about
Yeah.
Tendani go to a restaurant, a lodge that have empty walls, create business or propose business for those people, whereby he or she can be able to draw their area, making more interesting thing. Because I believe creativity is life. Imagine a
Mhm.
place without a paint, a place without a light, because creativity brings light. Imagine going to a restaurant, no music, no performance and so on, how will you be able to enjoy the taste of the area? I think it's about time whereby most of the creatives need to understand the business side of their creativity, because one of the challenges that most of creatives want to do shortcuts. Let me just maybe try to give an example about maybe upcoming artist. You find an upcoming artist or a musician having a good music but is not registered with Sambro, and is not registered to collect with RISA. Even when they distribute their music anyway, it can play at any radio station, but in the end of the day, an artist will be part of undocumented royalties because they are not able they cannot reach them, or they cannot be able to see to reach them to collect their royalties, which is a
Yes, hence I say, Limpopo Youth Forum should be able to have programs that educates around entrepreneurship. They should be able to have programs that talks to our creatives, our artists, our poets, our writer, mentorship programs, coaching programs that will be enable them to understand that with the talent that I have, this is an entrepreneurship, this is an enterprise, this is my personal enterprise, that I should be able myself to take care of it, irregardless of they have been funded, or a writer just wrote a book and going out and selling it themselves, which I think organizations should offer. If we are saying we need to develop, organizations should offer talks like that. Just to say to them, look, you are a writer. What do you do after you write? Who do you give your book to? Who are the correct publishers that you are going to use? Because we find young writers are writing books and they don't get to enjoy the benefits of writing, because they find themselves just giving their books, to publishers that are not even registered, or publishers that will not even, give them a green light to say, after we've published your book, this is, the reward you are going to receive at the end of the day. It same applies to visual artists. There's so many artists that are just having their drawings packed at their studios, and they don't know where to take it. And those are the things that we need to go out as organization to educate, our youth, to educate our generation, to say what are the steps to take. And same applies to musicians, same applies to poet as well, that they need education. They need education as to what you are supposed to do with your music, what you're supposed to do with your writing, what you're supposed to do, with their painting. But Freddy, I want to believe that as an organization, like you said, that you've been in office just for a couple of years, and with your leadership strategy, I want to believe that there's so much that is lined up that you're going to offer to within the province. I very soon, I think I want to see Limpopo Youth Forum in Madombija, and we want to see a big banner, isn't it?
Yes, of course, we are going to come anywhere where their creativity, like where there are young people in particular. We are always willing to come through and energize them, and also amplify their creativity by capacity capacity building, and also growing their creativity in a way, because it's very critical that we intervene as an organization, because the status quo in our province is not actually pleasing in a way, but there are opportunities outside that we can come through with them. Because if one thing I can share, I was part of the British Council of South Africa Connect Hub 320, whereby I've learned so many things there. I've been part of the Arts and Culture Trust program, like building block, which
Mm-hmm.
is actually creating a training in terms of arts marketing, asset based, like I've learned so many things,
Yeah.
arts governance and so on, which also I gave my leaders a privilege to also go through what I have learned, which of
Mm-hmm.
course I believe that they've learned a lot. And also, I've learned a lot from the institutions that I've attended that training, and I do continue to learn. Yeah, I'm also willing to go if I see other opportunity that comes where I must train or I have to amplify my knowledge as a leader. I'm more than willing to do so.
Wow.
Partnerships and working relationship in a way, I'm willing for that. We are willing as an organization to
Mm.
enter in any MOI or MOA, with any organization that have best interest of the industry, that have best interest of young people, that have best interest of overcoming socio-economic challenges that the industry are facing. We are more than willing for also intervening and working together with other stakeholders to create a better industry in our province.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Before we continue, I just want to remind our listeners that this is COMETSA online radio podcast, and I'm your host Tendani Munonoka, and my guest it's Freddy Mokay. We are talking youth leadership, we're talking youth development in arts and culture, and Freddy is the provincial chairperson of the Limpopo Youth Arts and Culture Forum. And we are just discussing basically the strategies, and the plans that we have for our youth. I'm saying we because I'm also in the same industry, and my organization, Tendani Cultural Society, is also so much into development and of in arts and culture, preserving our heritage as well, our traditional dances, the traditional way of doing things. So we are discussing with Freddy right now, and we also looking at all other bodies that he has been part of. And Freddy, I've seen that your profile or your CV. If I start to calculate or start to read, organizations that you've been part of, and everything of all of them, they are talking um, arts and culture, and it shows that, this is within you, this is you, and it doesn't change. Let's talk about, the art image before maybe the art image newspaper. Let's talk about being a brand ambassador for the Rain Queen for Mujaji Foundation. What is that all about?
Okay, this was the awards that were actually it's an annual awards that are hosted by Queen Mujaji Foundation, which they want to acknowledge the legacy of individuals within the cultural sector, and also people who are playing a critical role in the society. They want to celebrate them while they're still alive. Queen
Mhm.
Mujaji
Mhm.
is one of the iconic queen within our African diaspora. Therefore, it's very critical that we put that heritage epitome in a way that um, celebrate other people who are playing a critical role to preserve culture and promote, heritage in their society and in our society.
Yes, yes. Wow.
Yes.
So you've how long has the awards running?
It,
And
it
obviously
started
this year
officially
we are
last
not
year.
going to have awards.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, due to COVID-19 pandemic, we're not going to have awards. But however, I trust the foundation will officially make communication, because due to COVID-19, there are so many things that didn't work very well. But though I trust that with right time things will work accordingly.
Wow, yeah, exactly. Probably they will have the virtual awards. This is
Yes.
the lifestyle now that everything it's been done in a digital way. So we'll wait for them to make that announcement. Let's talk about the
Yeah.
Arts Image newspaper. Um, where is it published? How is it accessible? All that. And why did it start? Why did you start the Art Image newspaper?
Okay, I'm a founder, or I can say I'm the brain behind the Art Image newspaper, which
Mhm.
is in the process of construction currently, because um, we are still building the website, because it's going to be a web. I can say it's going to be an online newspaper. It's in the
Okay.
process currently. However, we have started with several tests via social media.
Mhm.
um, we have a page. However, due to COVID-19 last year, we had to pause some of operation, but eventually this year we are going to revitalize the image newspaper, and
Mhm.
people will be seeing the image newspaper going out, because when we say the art image, we are actually reflecting the creativity within the people,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there is no voice in the arts that reflect the creativity of young people, that tells story of young people within the creative industry, that tells stories about our older people in communities,
Mhm.
in our communities, in our country, globally. There's no such a newspaper that is dedicated in telling
Mm.
stories of art. Therefore we
Mm.
find it very necessary for us to create an image or a soul voice of art, where we are able to make reflection, tell stories of art in the process. That was the passion I had. And
Mhm.
one of the challenges that I had last year, it was due to I didn't have a proper camera in a way, but I bought one currently, which it gave me the energy in a way. And one of the also challenge I had, it is because I had a lot of responsibilities that I must fulfill within the LACYF, or the Limpopo Arts and Culture Youth Forum, whereby
Yeah.
I had to work on a, a, a plan, a strategic planning of the organization, change the strategy, change every paperwork of the organization, make sure that our strategic plan is in line with institutions within the arts industry, like Arts and Culture Trust, like National Arts Council, and so on and so on. Therefore,
Yeah.
we had to also, make more research. That process took me a long time, like approximately 6 months working on it. Hence, some of my things I had to pause them for some time. But this year, there will be a lot of activation for many of my initiatives, and yeah, it's going to be
Mm.
interesting this year.
Yeah. I heard you talking about there is nobody who's telling a story about who we are. There's nobody who's telling a story of where we come from. That is basically our foundation. And if we don't get those stories out, if we don't take care of our senior citizen who has the information, like you're talking about camera, there are kids who does not even know the mud house, the randavels,
Yes.
the thatched houses and all that. If we don't get that preserved and we don't create within my thinking, I always think, you know what, we need to be given a space and create a village. We create a village the way it used to look 50 years ago, or 70 or 100 years ago, so that we can teach the new generation. So we can say we are taking you to the village and they can see how it used to be, how life used to be. When we say people sit around the fire, this is the place and this is where the story comes. And on that village, it will create an inspirational corner for another poet, you know.
Yes.
It will create an inspiration for a creative artist, the drawings that might come out just by visiting that village. And
Yes.
it is within us. We need to create that. We need to make sure that those kind of places are created, as we are the creatives. And I just want to believe that when you say you want to create an image, you always want to keep the picture of Africa alive, the picture of Limpopo alive, the picture of Western Cape, that it should remain alive for the generation yet to come.
Yes.
Wow. I just so much want to think that, we don't know how over the COVID is going to be, but we should find a way to to make this happen. We should find a way. I always make a joke, Freddy, to say, you know what, South Africa is in Limpopo, because if you think of going to a quiet place, to think of going to beautiful place, Limpopo will always pop out into, the top of the list. So I
Yes.
just want to believe that, as in the being in the creative industry, being the art in the heritage cultural industry, we should be able to make our country more visible, um, because of what we have been gifted, because this is a gift. If you find somebody drawing, creating, doing a mural, you can see this is a gift. It's nothing that even if your degree can give you. It's beyond the degree and all that. And
Yes.
as you continue with the film, let's talk about filmmaking. Um, how is it? How is it going? How is the industry welcoming us?
Yeah, it is interesting. Myself, I'm a script writer, I'm a content creator. It's one of the
Yes.
things that most people don't know because they think maybe Freddy's always vocal, but forgetting that I'm also a creative. I'm a script writer and also I'm a
Yeah.
content creator. The
Mhm.
film industry has a lot of opportunities, but there are a lot of red tapes within the industry, and most of our people don't understand the processes which perhaps they are existing within the industry. They don't understand how to access the rebates and so on at the DTI. There's so many. There's a lot of money in the IDC, National Film and Video Foundation, and so many commissions. In our province, unfortunately, we have, or I don't know if I can say unfortunately or fortunately, because we have a
Mhm.
white animal in the name of Limpopo Film Commissions. I was there during its launch at Meropa Casino
Yeah.
on the 6th of December in 2016.
Yes.
Therefore, we reserved so many good things for it to revive the film sector in the province, like how you can see KZN Film Commission is doing very well, Gauteng Film Commission is doing very well, and other
Mm.
commissions around the globe. They are doing very well in terms of developing their territories. Therefore,
Yes.
unfortunately, in Limpopo, the Film Commission has been a white animal that never did any good thing for the people of the province or the filmmakers in the province. There are still no opportunities that you see the commission alive, um, reaching out to filmmakers, creating jobs to filmmakers,
Yeah.
revitalizing the film industry in the province, telling our own stories of uh, 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 we have so many kings in Skukune, we have Mpepu, and we have so many, Mpepu and so many, and
Mm.
we don't know their stories. We have so many heroes in Limpopo. like Peter Mkaba and so on and so on. But we don't know their stories. However, that space is still available for us as the province. We can tell our own documentaries about our cultures and so on. But we don't have a voice in the film
Freddie,
industry. Sorry?
Freddie, what I want to get at is, this is now me and you talking about this, and obviously me and you, we share the same feeling in terms of Limpopo documentaries are not being seen on television. Are we
Yes.
are we knocking enough on the door, or we are just tapping a little bit? Because I want to believe that this is the same feeling that I want. If I have to ask somebody about Makado today, not even somebody, an 18-year-old young man, and say, do you know who Makado is? What did he do? We had drums which are called ngoma rungundu. If I ask a child about that, I don't think they would have an idea. But there is an opportunity, a such big opportunity that we need to explore in. Are we exploring it hard enough, or we are just doing it slightly, or we are standing to say, you know, so and so is not availing themselves to help us out, or we are supposed to now take our phones and go and film and get it out online, and then only then maybe those that are meant to to come in assistant, to bring in bigger machines, to bring in bigger cameras, better sound and all that. Only then, when they see us taking our phones to say we are documenting or we are interviewing this one old man who's going to tell us about King Mpepu, or Chief or King's Kukune, or all that. Do you think we're doing enough? Because it looks like we should not focus on what they're not doing for us, but for
Yes.
me and you. Yeah.
What I've realized is that there is a lack of action in us. Sometimes when you have a vision, does not matter you studied in a shack or what, but you need to continue building, if you have a
Mm.
vision. Therefore, I would say that we have been spoon fed by indoctrination of democracy in a way that we must always get everything within our
Mm.
comfort zones. And that creates an environment whereby myself as Freddy, I will not go and knock the door. I think a door must come close to me so that uh, maybe, I don't know if the door must knock me or what. I don't know if a better way to say. But anyway, um, that is a most devastating challenge that I think most of young people, I think maybe they are demoralized in a way. They not have a vision. I don't know if how can I,
Waiting.
uh,
Yeah, they
yeah,
always waiting to
put
be
that into
given
order.
mm,
Yes, that is the most
opportunities to come.
devastating challenge. There is no room for collaboration of young people to say,
Mhm.
Tendani, I got a camera. Yourself, you say, I can write a script. And someone come and say, I have a venue where we can have this one.
Yeah.
That other one, and say, no, I have my car. We can use my car and go there. And those
Mm.
kind of dynamics of building, something which we all believe that can work for us. It is part of us making motion or making an action to build our vision in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
very serious or a very devastating challenge that perhaps our society they are facing, and we do not have any progress. Imagine, I'm always giving a practical example about our brothers and sisters from Ethiopia. When they came with nothing.
Mm.
But check today, they are owning township as spaza shops and so on. It's because they had a dream that at the end of the process, I want to own this kind of an enterprise or a commodity. But
Mm.
as we are just spectators while people are doing, and we know to blame than to, we know how to criticize better than being part of the process of providing solutions to challenges that we have.
Mm, mm. I think I think you're so right, because now for me and you, we're sitting here, we're talking arts and culture, we're talking development, we're talking youth leadership, yeah, we're talking transformation, we're talking education, motivation, and mentorship. I just want to believe that now that we have point out all the issues, around, um, you know, uh, issues that we are facing around the arts and culture industry. That as well, our talk today also help us from going back and to the drawing board to say, now this is what we need to introduce. If we are still waiting for funding, in the meantime, can we go out and talk to our artists? Can we go and
Yes.
talk to them about you? Yes, you are a writer, but you're not an entrepreneur. You need to be an entrepreneur to be able to manage your writing. Yes, you are a dancer. Sorry, that's what is it that you need to do uh, to enhance your dancing? Because dancing is not enough. If you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the plan, you don't have, an idea, you can just be a dancer, a street dancer that doesn't go anywhere. And for organizations like Limpopo Youth Forum, um, we need to include or increase, the number of projects that we want to run. Instead of starting with development, let's start talking to them. Let's start talking to them to say, who are you? What do you want? You know.
Yes. The most important thing that myself I'm always emphasizing is policy. Policy plays an important role, you know, is our is an insurance to our agenda of developing the cultural and creative sector in a way. We need to
Mhm.
have proper policies or create proper policies that are going to transform the economic landscape of the cultural and the creative industry in the process. That is one of the most important thing that I think in the process of us reaching out to so many artists, we need to also, as the creative and the cultural sector practitioners, we need to find a way of engaging with institutions that are very relevant within the industry, which myself I think in terms of the province we need to be starting to engage legislatures, municipal
Mhm.
councils and so on, to ensure that we are revitalizing policies, or we are restructuring policies, or building policies that are developing the industry in the process. Because if now Freddy, for example, is an understanding person, maybe in a strategic position, Freddy will go, and that development that he was doing, it won't continue because of he's not there. But if you create a policy, it does not matter who stands there or who is having which portfolio.
Mm.
However, you know that you have an insurance that your agenda or your developmental agenda is going to be fulfilled, because you can't build something within a year. It might take us 10 years, but we'll be knowing that step by step we are getting there.
Yeah, true.
Yes, I
Um,
agree with you that we need to reach to the creatives, go to
mhm.
them and try to educate them about enterprise development, and also make sure that they understand importance of formalizing themselves, because government in most cases does not want to speak to individual, you know they
Mm.
want to speak to a formalized structure in a way that they understand that when they spoke to a formalized structure, it's spoken to their membership.
Exactly.
Therefore, it's very critical that we also look into that and find amicable ways of also educating our creatives that to also be streetwise. What is so
Mm,
difficult for Tendani if he's a musician to go to the street and sell their music? And since it's interesting that Musica store, they have
yes,
closed their store, which most of the musicians will feel devastated about that. But is it the only distributor or a music store that must we give our hope to, or can
yeah,
we create our own? Because I believe that in absence of anything, here comes innovation, here comes
yes,
creativity. That how can we do something if this white elephant has fallen? What can we do for us to even do better than when they are still existing?
exactly.
Digital music stores are available. How about imagine you go to a tax rank, you are in a taxi, then you ask each individual to say, I got a song. Just want you to go to online with your data, just stream so that I
Yes,
can be able to put a bread for my. It is going to be funny to someone. Just enter the link and search my name, and even if you don't listen to it, but just click so that
click.
I
Yeah,
can put a bread on the table. Imagine the community you are receiving at the tax rank. Imagine young people you are having around, maybe at high school. There are so
hmm,
many young people there, and I believe teenagers these days, they have smartphones. They can be able to reach to your music stores. Then by that click, you are able to put a bread on the table. What is so difficult to do that? You know?
we need to teach them that. That's why you are there. You need to teach them that, to say, stop thinking along the CD, stop thinking along having your music being sold in a certain shop. We go in digital, for IR. That's the way to go. But Freddie, we had a very beautiful conversation today. I just want you to, let's maybe give me your take on the overall discussion that we have today, before we when we are just about to close.
Now, my take is that we had a very great conversation around the industry, and also I trust listeners they will have they will learn something from the conversation that we had. And I believe that we will unite as an industry beyond demarcation of our province. I'm also encouraging others from other provinces who are listening to this podcast to also see how best they can work together to transform the status quo of the industry. I think our conversation was very, very informative in a way, and also it was it was brainstorming in a way.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think it was very great, a great a session in a way, despite challenges that we had of technical support. But though I'm very happy that we managed to make it happen. I was even panicking the time we had technical challenges, that will this session or conversation continue or what. But I'm
Yeah.
very happy that we managed to make it successful.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking time to come and talk to us, about yourself, about your organization, Limpopo Youth Forum, and other organizations that you've been part of. Um, the good initiative that you are doing within the province, and we want to believe that so many points that you have raised, points of collaboration, points of development, points of changing the strategy, having people who understand the art world, being the one in the fourth, running the country, because that that is the biggest challenge, that people that we have sitting in various departments that are supposed to be supporting the arts category, or the arts, arts and culture department, they don't understand what we want to do. They don't understand what we are all about. So I think those challenges, now that we are talking about them, and we believe that our listener, or through this podcast, and we would be able to get, other better advice as to how best we can get it changed, or how best can we get it resolved. And Freddy, I want to believe that you're going to be part of COMETSA Radio online in all the global channels from now on. And I want also to believe that you will join COMETSA Friends and Supporters Club, because your generation, I want to call it your generation, because you're training a lot of people under you, a lot of artists under you who need a mentorship, who need coaching, and they will be able to get that from COMETSA club. The province and outside the province, they will learn from us as we take it out of the province. Thank you very much.
Yes, thanks very much too. Thanks very much.
All right.